I never thought I'd wake up in my daughter's skin, plotting to burn down the empire she built on my bones. But there I was, staring into the mirror of that $1.2 million McMansion bathroom, Emily's flawless cheekbones mocking me as I whispered her name like a curse. 7 days earlier, I'd signed over the deed to the house I'd clawed from nothing, only for her and that snake of a husband to slam the door in my face, my own blood, treating me like yesterday's trash. It started with a lie so sweet it rotted from the inside. Emily had always been the golden child, the one who got the straight A's while I scrubbed floors in Jersey City tenements to keep the lights on. Her father, God rest his spineless soul, bailed when she was 5, leaving me to raise her alone on minimum wage and sheer spite. I loved her fierce, the way only a single mom can, pouring every overtime check into braces, tutors, that Ivy League tuition she barely earned. And when I hit the lottery, $30 million after taxes, a freak scratch-off that turned my life from gray to gold, I thought I'd finally given her the world. A world she decided she wanted without me in it. "Mom, it's for the best," she'd said, her voice honeyed poison as she handed me a cardboard box of my things on the front steps. "You've done enough. This house, it's our fresh start. You can crash at the senior center or something." Her husband, Brad, tall, tanned, the kind of Wall Street dishabag who wore cologne like armor, loomed behind her, his Rolex glinting like a middle finger. They'd met at some alumni mixer. He was climbing the ladder at Goldman Sachs. She was consulting for startups that never quite launched. Together, they were a power couple. Or so their Instagram lied. But I saw the truth in the way his hand lingered too long on her waist. Possessive, not protective. I'd gambled everything on that house. Sold my own modest bungalow in the suburbs. Poured the proceeds plus a chunk of my winnings into this monstrosity in upscale Greenwich, 5 bedrooms. A pool that shimmered like stolen dreams. A home theater where we'd planned family holidays that never happened. It was my apology for every missed recital. Every night she ate ramen while I pulled doubles. "For you, baby," I told her at the closing, tears in my eyes as the notary stamped the papers. "Build the life you deserve." And she did. By evicting me. The rain pounded like judgment as I stood there, soaked to the bone, clutching that pathetic box, photo albums, my late husband's watch, a faded teddy bear Emily had outgrown. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains, the kind of nosy Connecticut busybodies who whispered about lottery trash invading their zip code. Brad chuckled, low and mean. "Don't make a scene, Alice. Security's on speed dial. Security. For a house I'd bought with my sweat." I stumbled to my beat-up Honda, the engine coughing like my pride, and drove to the only place I had left, a Fleabag motel off I-95, the kind with hourly rates and stains you don't ask about. That night, I didn't sleep. I scrolled through their social media. Each post a knife twist, Emily in a sundress by the pool. Caption: "Dreams do come true. Blessed new beginnings." Brad toasting with champagne. To us, babe. Finally free. Free. From me. By dawn, rage had curdled into something colder. I called my lawyer, but the deed was ironclad, gift irrevocable. No takebacks in the eyes of the law. Friends? The few I'd scraped together after the windfall had scattered like roaches when the novelty wore off. I was alone, 62 and broke in spirit if not in bank account. The rest of my millions tied up in safe investments Brad had sweet-talked me into. He'd called it diversification, but it smelled like sabotage. That's when the whispers started. Not hallucinations, real. Insidious murmurs in the motel's thin walls, like the building itself was breathing secrets. Or maybe it was the cheap whiskey I'd chugged to numb the ache. But no. It was her. Emily's voice. Faint and fractured, seeping through the vents. Mom? Help me. I bolted upright, heart hammering, convinced I'd lost it. Grief does that. Turns love into ghosts. The next morning, I drove back to the house uninvited. The gate, my gate, buzzed open with the code I'd never changed. Hope flickered. Stupid and stubborn. Maybe she'd reconsidered. Maybe it was a bad dream. But the driveway was empty save for their Tesla, and as I pounded on the door, it swung wide to Brad's scowl. What the hell? Alice? I told you. Where's Emily? My voice cracked. But I held his gaze. Something was off, his eyes darted, sweat beading on that perfect brow despite the AC chill. She's resting. Migraine. Now get lost before I call the cops. He tried to shut the door, but I wedged my foot in, years of door-to-door sales giving me leverage. Let me see her. Please. A crash from upstairs, glass shattering. Brad paled. Fine. 2 minutes. He led me through the foyer, past the marble island where we'd toasted the closing, up the spiral stairs that cost more than my old car. Emily's bedroom door was ajar, the air thick with a scent of lavender and something metallic, like blood, but not quite. She was curled on the king-sized bed, sheets tangled like restraints, her back to us. Ing. I whispered, stepping closer. No response. Brad hovered, phone in hand, thumbs twitching like he was live-tweeting my humiliation. Then she turned. And it wasn't Emily. Or it was, but wrong, eyes hollow, skin sallow under the makeup, lips moving without sound. Mom. A rasp, barely audible. Her hand shot out, fingers ice-cold on my wrist. Don't. Trust. Brad yanked her back. Enough. Out. Chaos erupted, Emily clawing at him, nails drawing red lines down his arm, him shoving her away, bellowing about drama queens. I froze, the room spinning, until a maid hired with my money peeked in, eyes wide with fear. Sir. The ambulance. Ambulance? Brad's face twisted. No. She's fine. Hysterical? That's all. But Emily convulsed, foam flecking her lips. And suddenly it was sirens and paramedics swarming my dream house turned nightmare. At the hospital, they called it a psychotic break. Emily. Catatonic. Hooked to IVs. Muttering about switched places and the truth coming. Doctors poked and prodded. Billing my insurance, my premiums, my policy. Brad played the devoted husband, fielding calls from her concerned friends. But I saw the cracks, the way he pocketed her phone, the hushed arguments with shadowy suits in the hallway. I sat vigil by her bed, holding her limp hand, whispering apologies for every shortfall. I gave you everything, baby. Why? No answer. Just beeps and the hum of fluorescent lies. On day 3, she woke screaming my name. Not Mom, Alice. It's me, God. Mom. It's me. Her eyes locked on mine, wild with recognition that wasn't hers. I recoiled, but she grabbed my sleeve, voice a frantic hiss. Listen. The accident. Dad didn't leave. You covered for me. The pills. The blood, I did it. I killed him. You took the blame to save me. The world tilted. 20 years buried. The secret that chained us. Emily, 16 and spiraling. High on stolen oxy from my med cabinet. Arguing with her father over curfew. A shove. His head cracking on the coffee table. Blood pooling like accusation. I'd walked in, seen the panic in her eyes, and lied to the cops, self-defense. My prints on the weapon, my tears for the jury. Manslaughter plea. 3 years in county jail. The stain that kept me from better jobs. Better men. For her. Always for her. But she'd twisted it. Weaponized my sacrifice. You were weak, she confessed once. Drunk at my 60th birthday. I deserved better. And now this, her body. My daughter. Unraveling from the inside. Brad burst in, flashing a smile for the nurses. Babe. Easy. Delirium from the meds. But as he leaned in to hush her, Emily's gaze, my gaze through her, burned with borrowed fury. Tell her. Brad. About the accounts. The investments you drained. He backhanded her. Hard. The slap echoed, drawing gasps from the hall. Nurses scattered. I lunged, but security swarmed, pinning me as he snarled. Keep your mouth shut. You crazy bitch. Emily slumped, blood trickling from her lip. But her eyes, those weren't her eyes anymore. They were mine. Calculating. Vengeful. That night, alone in the waiting room, the whispers returned. Louder. Insistent. Swap, they urged. A chorus from the vending machine's glow. Take it back. Madness. Surely. But as thunder rattled the windows, a bolt cracked the sky, and pain lanced through me, white hot, soul deep. I blacked out to the scent of ozone and regret. When I woke, it was in silk sheets that smelled of Chanel No. 5. My hands, young, manicured, flexed before me. Emily's hands. The mirror confirmed it. Her face. Her body. Staring back with my snarl. Down the hall. In the guest room they'd dumped me into. My old shell twitched. Eyes fluttering open to a stranger's terror. The swap. Impossible. Yet real. Some cosmic joke. A glitch in the universe's cruel code. I was her now. And she was me. Power surged through these borrowed veins, youth. Beauty. The keys to their kingdom. Brad slept soundly in the master. Oblivious. I slipped into Emily's closet, fingers trailing Louboutins and Chanel, selecting the red dress she'd worn to the closing. Time to play the part. Time to dismantle. But first, I checked the phone. Texts from lawyers. Transfers complete. $800,000 siphoned to offshore. Emails from Brad's side projects, blackmail files. Insider trades. The rot at his core. Emily's secret wasn't the only one festering. He'd married her for the lotto windfall, bled it dry, and now planned to institutionalize her, me, to claim the rest. Rage tasted like copper. I woke him with a kiss, soft and serpentine. Morning. Love. His eyes opened lazy, then sharpened. Ain't you okay? After yesterday. Never better. I straddled him, nails digging just enough to draw pinpricks of blood. Tell me about the accounts. The ones Mom doesn't know about. He laughed, then froze as I leaned in, breath hot on his ear. I know everything.
Brad.
The Cayman shells. The hookers in the city. The pills you slipped me to keep me quiet. Bluff. Half of it, pulled from the phone's ghosts. But it landed. His face drained to ash. What the fuck?
Who told you?
I smiled Emily's smile. All teeth. Does it matter? Here's the deal. You wire back every cent by noon. Or I go public. SEC? IRS. The works. And that video? The one of you with the intern? It hits TMZ by dinner. He bucked, trying to throw me, but I was faster. Youth's gift. My fist connected with his jaw. A crack like settling scores. Don't touch
me.
He scrambled back, clutching his face, eyes wide with the dawning horror that his puppet had cut strings. By 10, the transfers pinged, millions funneled back to her accounts. I watched from the home office, feet up on the desk I'd furnished, sipping coffee black as vendetta. Emily's body moved like silk over steel. I felt invincible. The house's hum a symphony of submission. But doubt crept in with the mail. A letter from the hospital, addressed to Alice. Psych eval scheduled. Involuntary commitment if non-compliant. They'd planned to lock me away. The real me. In a state-funded hellhole while they danced on my grave. Noon brought the twist. Emily in my body stumbled downstairs, frail and furious. What did you do? She rasped. Voice gravel from disuse. This isn't. I didn't mean. I turned, Emily's poise masking my pity. You meant every word, Mom. Kicking me out. The lies. Covering your murder with my life. Her eyes, my eyes bulged. It was an accident. You said you'd protect me forever. Forever's a long time for a lie. I stepped closer, towering in heels. But here's your out. Sign this. I slid papers across the island. Divorce decree. Assets split. A gag order sealing our sins. Walk away clean. Or I tell the world what you did to Dad. To me. She snatched the pen, trembling, but hesitated. The house. It's mine. Was. Brad slunk and then, bandaged and broken, nodding like a whipped dog. Do it.
Eminência. She's
different now. Tears carved rivers down my wrinkled cheeks, her tears. My face. I hate you, she whispered, signing with a flourish that cracked the paper. As she shuffled out, box in arms, echoing my eviction, I felt the swap's edge. This body. This life. It fit too well. Power tasted sweet, but hollow. 7 days. And everything changed. The house was mine again. Funds restored. Brad exiled to a lease in Queens. Emily vanished to some ashram in Sedona, chasing redemption or escape. But in the quiet nights, staring at that fractured portrait, I wondered, who was punishing who? The mother who'd given too much, or the daughter who'd taken it all? The truth reversed. We were both monsters, swapped and scarred. And as the rain fell once more, I raised a glass to the mirror. To Alice. To revenge. To the debatable end of us. The first week in Emily's skin was a high-wire act, every step a calculation to keep the facade from crumbling. I'd watched her for years, the tilt of her head when charming donors at galas, the flutter of lashes that disarmed boardroom sharks. Mimicking her was easy, living her was the knife's edge. Mornings started with green juices and Peloton sessions in the basement gym, my old joint screaming in protest through this lithe frame. Afternoons were power lunches at Sant Ambrius, where I'd nod through conversations about synergies and disruptors, all while mentally tallying the exits Brad had engineered from my portfolio. He was the real spider, web spun from our shared greed. I discovered the ledgers that second day, hidden folders on his laptop. Password LotteryBitch69, a juvenile jab at me. Millions rerouted to crypto wallets. Shell companies in Delaware masquerading as family trusts. Emily knew. Of course. Texts from a year back showed her complicit. Emojis of champagne glasses punctuating genius move. Babe. Mom's clueless. Betrayal's depth hit like vertigo, not just the house, but the slow bleed of my security. My future. I confronted him that evening. Post-yoga, glow masking my intent. We just finished a romantic dinner, catered lobster thermidor. The kind of excess that used to thrill me but now soured like regret. As he swirled his scotch, I leaned across the table. Voice Emily's sultry drawl. We need to talk about the money. His fork paused midair. Steak juice dripping like omen. What money?
Ain't
your headache acting up? I slid the printouts across the linen statements. Timestamps. His digital fingerprints. This money. The one you stole from my mother. From us. The color leached from his face. But he recovered with that salesman grin. Stole? It's invested.
babe.
High yield. For our future kids. Travel. The Hamptons flip. He reached for my hand, but I yanked back, nails raking his knuckles. Liar. The word hung. Controversial in its simplicity. The kind of accusation that could end marriages or start wars. I know about Vanessa.
2.
The paralegal. And the weekend in Miami that wasn't client golf. Bluff again. Pieced from browser history and a suspicious Venmo charge. But it shattered him. He slammed the table. Crystal goblets tinkling like alarms. You snooping now? After everything I've done? I built this life while you played socialite. Everything you've done? Laughter bubbled up. Bitter and un-Emily-like. You married me for the lotto check. Groomed mom into signing it all away. And when she wouldn't budge on the house, you convinced me to cut her loose. His eyes narrowed, the mask slipping. She was a liability. Clinging, demanding grandkid visits we can't afford emotionally. You said it yourself. She's suffocating us. No, Emily had. The word she'd spat in that final confrontation, now weaponized against me. The room closed in, the chandelier's prisms fracturing light into accusations. I stood, chair scraping like a gauntlet thrown. Wire it back. All of it. Or I walk into the SEC tomorrow with your server backups. He lunged, hands clamping my shoulders, Emily's shoulders, hard enough to bruise. You wouldn't. You're nothing without me. That body, it's mine now. His breath reeked of entitlement, the dark underbelly of American ambition. Men like him, devouring dreams for a corner office view. I twisted free, knee driving up into his groin with precision born of bar fights in my youth. He crumpled, gasping, and I towered over him, heart pounding with illicit thrill. Touch me again. And it's not just money you lose. It's freedom. I grabbed his phone. Thumbprint unlocking the transfers. $2.4 million. Double what he'd skimmed. My interest compounded in spite. As the confirmations chimed, a moan echoed from upstairs. Emily, in my body, stirring from her drugged haze. Brad had dosed her that first night post-hospital. Benzodiazepines crushed into her Ensure to calm the hysterics. I'd found the vials in the medicine cabinet, prescribed to me years back for jailhouse anxiety. Poetic, in the cruelest way. I hauled myself, her frail form, downstairs, propping her on the couch with a blanket that smelled of mothballs and lost time. "Mom," she croaked, confusion etching lines deeper than her years.
What
"Happened? Why do I feel?" "Sho." I stroked my hair, the gesture alien in these young hands. "It's me,
Eminência.
Alice."
Where?
Switched. Her eyes widened, then rolled back in horror.
No. God. No.
"This can't." She clawed at her arms, nails drawing blood. The same frantic scratches I'd seen on her as a teen, post-accident. "Fix it. Make it stop." "I can't." Truth stung, raw as exposed wire. "But I can make it right. Sign the papers. Give up the house. The lies. Start over as
Me.
Quietly, she laughed, a wheeze like breaking glass. "As you broke. Alone. Haunted by what I did, Dad. It was my fault. The shove. The blood. You went to prison for me.
And I.
I hated you for it. For making me owe you." The confession hung, a noose of our making. Deep betrayal. Yes, but mutual. A cycle of sins. I'd covered for her not just from love, but shame, my failure as a mother, letting the pills into our home. The fights escalate. We'd both buried it. But secrets fester, birthing monsters. Footsteps thudded. Brad, recovered and raging, phone to ear.
Yeah.
911, intruder in my home. Elderly woman, possibly armed. He glared at Emily's shell. "Do it, you hag. Or the cops haul you off." Controversial decision. Fight or fold. I could expose him, drag us all into the tabloid abyss, lotto heiress in body swap horror. But that would torch Emily's fragile redemption, my own quiet years. Instead, I nodded to her. Sign. Trembling, she did, ink smudging like tears. Brad hung up, smirking triumph. Smart. "Now get out. Both of you." But as Alice shuffled toward the door, I blocked him. Emily's lithe form a barrier of borrowed steel. "One more thing." I hit send on the email, anonymous tip to his boss. Attachments of the trades, the videos. "Resign by morning. Or jail." His roar shook the walls. But he deflated, slinking to his study like a dethroned king. Victory tasted like ash. The house, once a beacon, now echoed with ghosts. That night, alone in the our master, I scrolled Emily's contacts. Old friends, faded to acquaintances, colleagues who'd ghosted when the craziness leaked. Isolation's sting was universal. Body be damned. Dawn brought the swap's reversal, no fanfare. Just a gasp and the world writing. I woke in my skin, creased and weary. Emily's screams from the guest room confirming it. She burst in, wild-eyed, herself again.
Mom?
It worked.
But
The papers. Brad's gone. He left a note. You're both insane. Enjoy the ruins. Ruins. The accounts restored. House deeded back. But the fractures? Irreparable. She collapsed beside me, sobbing. I'm sorry. For Dad. For everything. I held her, the embrace tentative, earned through hell. Me too, baby. For not seeing sooner. We sold the McMansion weeks later, splitting proceeds clean, her half to therapy and a fresh start in Austin, mine to a cottage in the Keys. Waves whispering absolution. Brad vanished to Dubai, whispers of indictments trailing. Emily visits sometimes, cautious coffees where we skirt the swap like a shared delusion. Was it real? Cosmic justice or maternal madness? The ending's debatable. Redemption. Or just delayed reckoning. I gifted her a life. She kicked me from it. 7 days changed everything. But some debts linger, etched in blood and bone. As I watch sunsets from my porch, Emily's laugh echoing in memory, I wonder, who truly won the revenge? Months blurred into a fragile normalcy, the kind stitched from apologies and avoidance. Emily thrived in Austin, or so her text claimed. Yoga certifications, a podcast on toxic family dynamics that danced around our truth without naming it. Listeners raved. Empowering. I'd listen in the cottage's wicker rocker, Gulf breeze salting the irony, wondering if she'd scripted our sins into self-help gold. Me? I gardened, fiercely, tomatoes twisting up trellises like vengeful vines, reclaiming control in dirt under nails. But normalcy's a lie, thin as motel sheets. The swap lingered, a shadow itch, manifesting in dreams where I'd flex Emily's fingers, taste Brad's fear anew. Doctors called it PTSD. I called it unfinished business. Then came the letter. Crisp vellum from a Manhattan firm. Estate of Bradley Hargrove. As beneficiary, your presence is required. Beneficiary? Brad. The golden parachuted prick. Dead by his own hand, overdose. They said. In a Dubai penthouse suite. Pills. Poetic echo of our origins. The note he'd left? Not for Emily, but me. You win, Alice.
The witch.
Take the scraps. Enclosed, a flash drive. His final fuck you. I flew up. Economy's seat pinching my hips. The city a concrete jungle roaring welcome home mockery. Emily met me at JFK. Hug stiff as starched collars.
Mom.
This is weird. Understatement of the year. We cabbed to the lawyer's office in Midtown. Glass tower stabbing the sky like ambition's folly. The attorney, a shark in pinstripes named Harlan, ushered us in with condolences that rang hollow. Mr. Hargrove's assets, $4.7 million. Liquidated. Offshore accounts reclaimed post-indictment. And this. He slid the drive across mahogany. Personal effects. For you, Mrs. Hargrove,
S.
Thompson. Emily's married name. A ghost tag. She plugged it in. Screen blooming with folders. Proof. Lies. The real swap. My stomach nodded. What is this? Watch. Her voice trembled. Cursor hovering. The video opened on Brad. Gaunt and glassy-eyed. Gulf skyline blurring behind. If you're seeing this, I lost. To you, Alice. The hag who birthed a monster. He swigged from a bottle, top-shelf bourbon. Ironic paean to my Jersey roots. Emily told me everything. The accident. Your prison stint. How you swapped some bullshit astral projection from that cult book you lent her. Occult 101. Right? Mom's little secret hobby. Cult book? I'd forgotten. A dog-eared soul exchange tome from a flea market, gifted in just during her goth phase. Placebo for our guilt. Or so I'd thought. But here's the twist, he slurred, leaning into frame, eyes manic. I made it happen. Hired a psychic in the village, $50K to dose you both with DMT. That hospital, migraine cocktail laced with hallucinogens. Body swap? Your delusions. Amplified. I needed you out. Alice, you sniffing too close to the ledgers. So I staged the breakdown. The eviction. Emily played along. She hated you more than me. Emily gasped beside me, hand flying to mouth.
No.
Brad. You bastard, I didn't know. The video rolled on. And the money? Not stolen, hidden for us. You
Ink.
were the mark. Weak. Like your mom. But Alice.
You fought back.
In her skin. You dismantled me. Fair play. A laugh. Wet and wrong. One last gift, the files. Expose the Hargrove name, my father's firm. Dirty deals from the 80s. Crash it all. Or burn it. Your revenge.
Complete.
Screen black. Harlan cleared his throat. The drive contains evidence. Insider trading. Laundering through Daddy's bank. Enough to topple empires. Mr. Hargrove's suicide. Timely. Perhaps. Timely. The word ignited Fury's embers. Brad. The puppet master. Puppeteering our chaos for profit. The swap a chemical con. Not cosmic. Betrayal's layers peeled back. Emily's complicity unwitting. Mine in trusting too deep. The crime I'd borne, Dad's death, now dwarfed by this orchestrated hell. Emily wept, shoulders shaking.
Mom.
After the hospital, he convinced me it was stress. The swap, I thought I was losing it.
Kicking you out. God.
It was his idea. Tough love, he said. Tough love. American as apple pie and eviction notices. I pulled her close. The lawyer averting eyes like our mess might stain his suit. We ended here, or not. Decisions branched. Controversial forks, torch the files, let the guilty rot in anonymity, or unleash. Watch conglomerates crumble. Jobs lost. Leves appended for one man's greed, the antagonist. Dead. Still wielded power, his legacy a bomb. Fuse in my hand. We drove to the old house that night. Uninvited ghosts in a sold shell. For sale sign mocked from the lawn. New owners oblivious to stains.
Inside.
Empty echoes amplified our whispers. Emily clutched the drive. A lighter for my purse, Zippo. Engraved with lottery date. Burn it, she urged. Let karma handle the rest. Or expose. My voice echoed. Dual. Mother's gravel. Daughter's silk. For every mom like me, bled dry by charm and chicanery. She paced. Heels clicking hollow. But innocence, employees. Families. It's not justice, it's vengeance. Like what I did to you. The climax crested, tension coiling like storm clouds over the sound. Outside. Thunder grumbled. Rain lashing windows like judgment deferred. I snatched the drive. Lighter flicking flame, blue and hungry. Flash. Dad's blood on linoleum. Prison bars clanging. Emily's eviction smirk. Brad's final ear.
No.
I pocketed it. Not tonight. Her relief washed palpable. Then what? Donate. Anonymously. Tip the feds. Let them unravel without our names. Debatable mercy. Punish the system. Spare the souls? We left at dawn. Drive mailed from a neutral P.O. box. Headlines brewing weeks later. Wall Street scandal rocks Hargrove legacy. No mentions of us. Just ripples in the machine. Emily stayed the week. Us cooking in my tiny kitchen, spaghetti carbonara. Her childhood favorite. Sauce simmering like simmering peace. Laughter crept in.
Tentative.
Over wine. Remember the swap? Felt real as hell. Real enough. I clinked glasses. Taught us both. She flew back changed. Text warmer. Love you.
Mom.
For real this time. The cottage felt less empty. Garden blooming defiant. But endings twist. Months on. A package arrived, no sender. Just a thumb drive clone. Brad's voice again. Knew you wouldn't burn it. Insurance policy. Copies everywhere. Use it, Alice. Or I release yours. Mine? The video appended. Grainy footage. Me and Emily's body. Kneeing him. The bruise blooming. Deep fake? No, real. Timestamped. Blackmail from beyond. His memento mori. Panic surged. Then steal. Controversial choice. Forward it all. To media. Watch the inferno. Or delete. Bury forever. I chose fire, digital and literal. Uploaded to whistleblower sites. Then smashed the drive under heel. Shards glinting like shattered illusions. Headlines exploded. Lotta widows revenge. Body swap hoax exposes elite fraud. Debates raged. Forums ablaze on ethics. Gender.
Greed.
Heroic takedown versus vigilante chaos. Emily called. Voice steel. You did it. We're free.
Free.
Or infamous. Paparazzi camped my beach. But I waved from the porch. Tomatoes ripe in hand. The truth reversed, not victims. But victors in a game rigged from birth.
Happy?
Tragic? You decide. Revenge's aftertaste is debate. Lingering like salt on the wind. And in America's underbelly. That's the real win.